I'm starting to think I should have actually brought a drink with me now.
Do you want to go and quickly get a drink?
It's fine. I'll raw dog it, as they say.
As the kids say.
As the kids say.
Please leave that in the podcast. Please leave that in the record.
In the anime news you need to know about, today we are going to talk about Super Saiyan 4. We're going to talk about solo leveling and loads of other bits and pieces. Welcome to Undisputed Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Taicho, aka D-Res Zane, aka Hashira Zane, your captain when it comes to anime recommendations. And as always, I'm joined by my best friend. He's got the best blue eyes I've ever seen.
I didn't know that this was that kind of meetup, to be fair. But thank you.
I miss Valentine's Day, so you know.
Oh, true. You were off jet setting.
I was out jet setting, yeah. But we'll get to all of that.
Rubbing shoulders with the corporate elites.
We'll get to that, don't worry. But he is the omnipotent reader, Mr. Susu Day. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. You know, it's the weekend. Would you believe it? The sun has come out after a couple of miserable, very windy days. You know, fresh off the back of another podcast, as I obviously, as you very well know, last minute stood in for a guest on the world famous MangaTak podcast.
Beautiful. Lovely plug. What did you guys talk about?
We were talking about one of my favorite manga, which was D. Greyman.
Oh,
so
that's going to be a good episode.
If you do happen to follow Matt over at MangaTak, do look forward to that. It was a very interesting conversation to have, and hopefully I've made a fan of him because he seems pretty keen to keep reading. So, so you know. I don't think he takes lightly when someone says, this is one of my favorites.
I'm definitely going to check out that episode because I, of course, love D. Greyman as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear first time readers, what's the word I'm looking for? Experience with that.
And I think that the episode, that there was a lot of that in the episode because, obviously D. Greyman is like 20 years old now. If maybe just that. And it originally published alongside like the calendar was stacked. Like it was like released alongside Bleach and Naruto and One Piece.
Was it really?
It was going alongside Steel Ball Run and like the tune into MangaTak. Watch that episode. so I don't give you a reason not to watch it. But yeah, it was an absolutely stacked roster for Shonen Jump back then.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know, it's a manga that's a product of its time style wise. So I think that the manga that we've got now is much more refined than what it started as. But we talk about it, so you know, go and check it out on the MangaTak podcast. Had great fun.
There'll be relevant links in the description down below. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Yeah, I certainly will be. Where do I start? Yeah. So
where do we begin?
So, if I look a little tired yet tanned, as Susu Day mentioned, I have recently been jet setting. Actually, I've just realised as well, like I've got like tan lines from where I'm wearing watches. And yeah, what a geek. Yeah. So I in the time that we've done episodes, I went to the Bahamas for just under a week. So that was pretty fun. Caught up on some manga reading, of course.
As
got
one
through
does.
a lot. Yeah. Got through a lot of Kagurabachi, which was awesome. And I made a start on Witch Hat Atelier. Which has been on my reading list for the longest time. So I thought, yeah, let's crack on. Beautiful artwork. Such beautiful artwork.
It's on my to-dos. So.
But yeah, loads of bits and pieces, lots of gaming, of course, gearing up for Monster Hunter. We'll be running them wilds.
Ready to hunt them beasts, ready to make them into armor and weapons and eat delicious, roasted meats.
Succulent meats.
Like food that looks better than any food that could be delivered to you in real life. I honestly, I struggle watching those cooking scenes in Monster Hunter because it really makes me hungry.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why, but it always makes me think of like a good sort of bit of bacon.
Oh yeah, like a thick cut sliced bacon.
Yeah, or something.
Just on the topic of Monster Hunter, I was actually just thinking about this. I know that we did have there was a Monster Hunter manga that was written by our friends. I see our friends. Our friends over in the Fairy Tale, Rave Master, Eden Zero, Dead Rock universe, but I don't think it ever had an anime.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I think, let me just double check this. I was wondering, this be a great time for that to be announced. Yeah, it's called Monster Hunter Erogi, and it was written and illustrated by Mashima-san.
Wow.
And it's not an overly long series, but it's like kind of Monster Hunter at its finest, and they've got their own like kind of they've got like their own like flagship monster in it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really like I definitely recommend checking it out. It doesn't have an anime, so let's not spend too much time on it because this is a podcast about anime. But yeah, it's available out there if you're a Monster Hunter fan and you would like to consume something a little bit new. There is a Monster Hunter Aragi. No, sorry,
wow.
Aragi. There we go. I don't know where the O came from.
That's really interesting. I guess the anime-wise, the closest thing I could think of is the God Eater anime.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's the same format of games, isn't it? So
yeah, it's the same format. It's a little bit more futuristic, but I think it would probably scratch that sort of Monster Hunter anime itch sort of thing. Plus,
now's
I've seen
the time, Capcom. Capitalize on the fact that everyone's going to be dropping everything to play Monster Hunter just under a week. Ooh, let's go. Anyway, sorry, tangented. You go.
I know. Yeah, I think I said it in our group chat as well. Like, I've been trying to warm up by playing Wild Hearts on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to exercise them muscles.
We're gonna be ready. We're gonna be hunting with the best of them. Like, shout out to Team Darkseid and their like 30-second boss monster kills and stuff like that.
My gosh, yeah. Right then, let's get down to business, as they say. Undisputed Anime Podcast is global. We are available, of course, on your favorite podcast platforms and listened to on Spotify, Apple Music, all that jazz. Be part of the show by making sure to like and subscribe, and of course, drop those comments in. Any questions you have, we'll read them on the show. So drop any sort of questions, any recommendations. We'd love to hear from you. And again, be part of the show. We'll read them out. If you love what we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button and again, give us a star rating. It's completely free and it helps us out in a big bad way. But today we're going to kick things off. So I was again on holiday in Bahamas and I have to admit, humble brag. I'm going to paint the scene. I was on the beach and I was scrolling through my phone because the Wi-Fi just hit that sweet spot of the beach, and there was a moment where I couldn't believe what I saw, and I dropped my phone and like completely grabbed my head, and I was like, no way is this real. Super Saiyan 4 has become canon. Let me just reiterate that. Super Saiyan 4 has become canon 24 years later.
a post-mortem canonization of something that some people think is stupid, other people think is amazing.
I have to admit, I'm in the amazing camp. Although GT isn't the best storytelling, it has some of the greatest things out of it. And Super Saiyan 4 is a product of that. And I could not believe it. So, to break the news, which is already over a week old now, but episode 18 of Dragon Ball DAIMA, which crashed Crunchyroll servers as well.
As they expected.
And it probably didn't help. There was a solo leveling episode that week, within that time frame.
A good one as well.
a damn good episode. Completely wrecked the servers with the reveal of Super Saiyan 4. What were your thoughts, your reactions when you saw this?
I've always been neither here nor there on Super Saiyan 4. There's like a part of me that's like, okay, yeah, it's cool. It's a natural transition. Obviously, the Saiyans are like they're kind of like styled after like the idea of this like great, powerful ape gods and stuff like that. And that's part of the original lore of the Saiyans, is that the moon comes out and they're like were-apes, aren't they? And they turn into giant killing machines. And then obviously Super Saiyan came out, and it's like that's the benchmark now for Super Saiyan transformations. So from that perspective, I actually think that Super Saiyan 4 is very cool in that it's like, it's kind of like harking back to like the roots of the Saiyans. Yeah. But then there's the other part of me that's like, this looks dumb. Personally.
Do you mean the new look or the original GT4?
The original look in GT. However, I've grown up. I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. I think that it's a little bit jarring seeing Super Saiyan 4 in like a chibi form.
Yes, 100%.
For sure. But I'm like, you know what? I'm here for it now. I'm a much more tolerant consumer of the media of the medium right now. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not like losing my mind about it, but I definitely think it's really cool that even post mortem, like Dragon Ball Z is like still like surprising people.
Yeah, and I guess this kind of goes back to what I said when this show first started, is that there's so many sort of, I don't want to say little, because they've slowly grown into bigger and bigger lore drops. Like, it started off something silly like what's under Mr. Popo's turban. He has ears. Now it's kind of like, Super Saiyan 4 is chronologically part of, the transformation scale, and there's so much like Namekian lore that we're getting out of this as well. And again, so much of it is interesting and fascinating. Of course, there's the added element that this is Toriyama's like one of his last projects that we know that he worked on, sort of thing. Yeah. So
this has his blessing.
It has his blessing.
It can be assumed that it has his blessing.
Well, exactly. And it's almost like, dare I say, this is like Toriyama's version of GT. Is it, this is Toriyama's version of Super Saiyan 4. And it's not finished either. So what else could we see? And again, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a speculation train, so I hope you're all strapped in. But there's so many theories that are coming out of this now. Like, I saw one theory from a guy called Red Monkey on TikTok, where he was like, the craziest thing could happen, which is that Taro, who works on the Dragon Ball Super manga, made his name by making a Dragon Ball fan manga. Some of the older listeners may remember this, but there was an older fan manga called Dragon Ball AF. And in Dragon Ball AF, there was a Super Saiyan 5 transformation. Now, Super Saiyan 5 is it looks like Super Saiyan 4, but with white fur, and has this like really long hair, a bit like Super Saiyan 3.
So it's like a combination of 4 and 3.
It's a combination of 4 and 3. So, knowing that Taro worked on that, there's a speculation of could we now see Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball Super, but with Ultra Instinct? Would that give him the white fur, and become like, would that be like a new sort of canon version of the fan manga, if that makes any sense?
Honestly, I at this point, I'm I'm here for the tree of Saiyan transformations. Because there's not even like a straightforward, you start here and you end here. It's you start here, and it's like kind of like a leveling tree in a video game. It's like if you could choose to level and go up this skill route, and you get the like Super Saiyan like 3 transformation and then into Super Saiyan 4, or you go down this way and you go from Super Saiyan 2 to the Ultra version of Super Saiyan 2 into things like Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego and stuff like that. And then you've got like completely side separate branches like Beast Mode Gohan and stuff like that, which isn't a Saiyan transformation. That's part of like that's just a Gohan
thing. Yeah, exactly. So there's all these like theories about where can we go with the transformations now, which sounds really exciting. Although like, some of us are kind of like tired of another transformation and them kind of rehashing nostalgic moments. It is kind of exciting to think about what this means and what this looks like. Because again, another element of this is we've still got these like pouches of bugs, and the bugs can do numerous things like fusion, and they can also be sensu beans. So another speculation is, now we've seen Vegeta hit Super Saiyan 3. Could we now see a fusion between Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? And then would that look like the Super Saiyan quote unquote 5 from the fan comic? Again, there's all these kind of avenues and looks and such that we could potentially see. And again, as like the video games, more skins, more variants, more Gocheetahs, more types of Gocheetahs.
We're going to be getting another Fortnite crossover soon, aren't we?
Well, I was just thinking of sparking.
So sparking. Yeah, we could get some DLC on the go.
Exactly. So again,
Dragon Ball Z is so wild, man. It's like wild now over there.
It is wild. And again, I love the fact that some of this stuff from the movies is slowly becoming canon. Like, I was kind of hoping that Janemba would become canon, and maybe that's a possibility because they've introduced margins, and there's these 2 goofy margin characters who are made from the essence of Majin Buu. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they merge and become Janemba, but again, that seems a bit of a long wish now. But yeah,
it's kind of nice because it really does feel like Toriyama was like kind of trying to pay homage to GT in a lot of ways these days. It feels like it feels like the creator of the property has gone, this wasn't for everyone, but it does have a very loyal fan base.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of it being a side note, it should be a part of the wider canon universe.
Yeah, and I guess it's also acknowledging, like you say, the fans, because again, Super Saiyan 4 being a huge fan favorite. What was the other one? Gogeta and Broly. Huge fan favorites, of course, coming from things that weren't part of his story, but recognizing it and then incorporating in, being like, yep, all these toys now, they're now ours. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is beautiful what he's done in recent years to kind of incorporate everything we love about Dragon Ball that isn't necessarily part of his universe, but now is. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
It's been so good, and like even like just taking a jump over to like the like manga and stuff like that. Like I recently caught up on Super, and like they've just got onto the end of the whole last movie.
Yeah,
but the way that it ends in the manga, spoiler alert, is like, as if in case you've not seen the spoilers all over the internet, is that Goku, after losing the fight to Vegeta, goes back to Earth after hearing from Wise about Gohan saving the world, And he basically brings Gohan and Piccolo over to Beerus's world, and then Goku and Vegeta both have fights with Beast Mode Gohan, and it's insane. It's great, and then as a result of Gohan learning that the root of his power is kind of letting go of his rational a little bit, letting himself get angry. He's actually able to, he spars with Broly and helps Broly overcome going crazy when he becomes Super Saiyan, because that's obviously Broly's thing, is that if he goes Super Saiyan, he loses control of himself. And Gohan helps him find a route to start taking in order to make that transformation but not lose control of himself.
That's a beautiful parallel, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that there's the way that Super's gone in the manga has been pretty, I think, divisive. I think some people love it, some people hate it, but I definitely think it's worth a read if you are just a Dragon Ball fan generally, because you get to see all these, if you've watched the movie, you get to see all these little extra bits that get all tied up and stuff. Yeah. You get to see the most recent chapter I read was absolutely phenomenal, because it started with Vegeta having to remind Goku that he has a granddaughter and her name is Pan, and it ends with Goku going with Piccolo and Gohan to pick up Pan from nursery and stuff like that, and she sees him and she immediately attacks him, and that's how they bonded and stuff like that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Episode 19 of Dragon Ball DAIMA dropped last night on Crunchyroll. So if you want to get caught up, it's all there ready. The dub version is slowly catching up as well. So I'm excited to rewatch it with the dub version. Also, a little side, or maybe a major, not a major spoiler, a little spoiler for episode 19 is he gets his adult body back, Goku that is, and he, again, talking about rehashing, you remember in the Boo saga where he tells Boo, he's like, this is what a Super Saiyan is, and this is what Super Saiyan 2.
Oh yeah, he takes him up the power scale, doesn't he? He goes one by one.
Yeah. So he redoes that against the villain, and then he says, no, this one's a bonus, and then he turns into Super Saiyan 4 adult Goku, and then it just kind of holds it there, almost like it's ready for a crowd applause, if you know what I mean. And then it just ends, and then you're like, Episode 19 also gave us the reveal that Vegeta likes to take baths with Bulma.
Oh, I literally saw that this morning, and I was like, no one loves his wife like Vegeta loves his wife. He's not giving up those privileges.
Those prince privileges, yeah, shall we say.
She's like, you will not get to do this anymore. And he's like, I've never seen him move quicker. He may as well have used instant translocation. And he's like, it's your turn. He's literally just
and the whole joke
one of you guys go fight him.
And one of the jokes leading up to it is that Vegeta was fighting for his life. He was he refuses to, he went all the way up to Super Saiyan 3, exhausted himself, and, went back down to base form, just because he was just so exhausted into this fight, and everyone's like, he's gonna go
die.
out, yeah, swinging. We need to call him back, and Bulma knew the right phrase to call him.
He really called him out. She knows what he likes, and he knows what he likes. And if you could have told the me of today. Mm-hmm. Sorry, the me of all those years ago when I was watching original Dragon Ball Z, when I was watching the Namek arc, the Frieza arc, if you had told me that Vegeta and Bulma ended up as this happily married couple, and in the most bonkers way, in a much healthier relationship than the actual main character.
Yeah.
is like it's crazy. It's honestly honestly so like crazy. Like I'm always thinking about this like meme that I saw ages ago, which was a comic of Goku and Chi-Chi, and it's Chi-Chi in some like special nightwear and stuff like that, and
Wow.
and it's like she's like Goku, I need you to come and help me with something in the bedroom or something like that, and he's like, what's the matter, Chi-Chi? Is there someone there? And then it's like him right up close to face, like, is he strong? And stuff like that. And I'm like,
Yeah. I think I know the comic you're talking about. Yeah, it's like what was it? I'm fighting with something, isn't it? And he's like, "You're fighting with something. Are they strong?
Are they strong?" He's like, he's like the most like asexual like creature I've ever seen in an anime. It's like so funny.
It's so bizarre.
He's only got one love. He's only got one love, only one kink, and that is fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he speaks the language of fight. That's the thing. Yeah. Also, it made me think back, like the whole the whole start of like Vegeta and Bulma's relationship when he was like training and she like had to force him to have like a shower or a bath because he was like just sweating in the.
What's that awful smell? Oh, it's you. When's the last time you bathed there, bud? You need a bath. Please, this way. Well, what? Do you want me to roll out the red carpet?
What do you call it? The little ship with the 100. Yeah, well, the
no, that's yeah.
The gravity room sort of thing. Yeah. I was like, is that some sort of weird callback to like?
He's remembering the good old days.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hilarious, and
everyone loves like even if you deny it, everyone loves the enemies to lovers trope.
Yeah,
in media and stuff like that. They're a perfect example of it.
Exactly. And one last thing, because I understand like we've been talking for nearly half an hour just about Dragon Ball DAIMA, but the one thing I thought was really interesting with this series is Piccolo and Vegeta's relationship. Like if you think back, like right back to the Saiyan saga, and even after that, they very rarely have like on-screen time together. Of course, they're in the same fights and stuff, but in Dragon Ball DAIMA, there's a lot of time where they're actually sat next to each other, but they're both kind of similar. So they're both just sat there with their arms crossed with their eyes closed, like, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I remember, I think it's like Super 13, the movie. There's that joke where they're both sat on like a sheet of ice back to back sort of thing because they were the last ones there during the fight.
Yeah.
And it just, again, it's kind of like a weird parallel how they were both enemies but become very good friends of Goku and stuff.
Yeah, I think I think that like we tend to always pair Vegeta with Goku. Mm-hmm. And rightly so. Like they're like kind of like parallel. They're like walking the same path, but they're like kind of parallels of one another and whatnot. But I think that we often forget that like Vegeta and Piccolo are cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways. They've both basically, they're two different characters who've had a very similar kind of like journey in the story, where they start off as like villains and stuff, and they've kind of like gone on to be. In fact, like it's hard to argue that characters like Piccolo and characters like Vegeta have had the most amount of character growth out of them all, because it's like, if you could have told me that like I said before, if you could have told me that like Vegeta went from this prince who just wants to fight and take over the universe and be the strongest to loving husband with a son and a GT mustache, and if you were to tell me that like Piccolo would go on to be like this like this like a stepdad, like a surrogate father to like Gohan, and then to be like literally like the go-to guy about Gohan's like own child, Like, if you could, like, what's like Piccolo, like in the last movie, Piccolo's like going like buying her toys, and like he's got like a phone just like a phone just for like pan related stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. He's been more of a grandfather than Goku has. But like you say, that character development of being a mentor for Gohan, and like you say, being almost like a stepfather, surrogate father. His whole journey is it's incredible, and even for Piccolo as well, like understanding more about his culture, and it's been amazing. And becoming the number one aura farmer as well. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, honestly, there's no wonder that Piccolo is so popular.
Yeah,
like he's like literally, he's like the vision of like the dads that people didn't have, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Goku's the one who went to get the milk.
Yeah, and never came back.
Yeah,
basically. Piccolo was the dad that stepped up.
He stepped up. He was there. He was there. He taught him how to shave. He
seasoned his chicken.
Taught him how to season his food. Got him his first beer.
But yeah, amazing stuff happening in Dragon Ball DAIMA. I do highly recommend checking it out. There is some slow points, but the payoff is so good.
If you weren't aware, guys, this is a Dragon Ball Z podcast. And it always has been. If you're tuning in for the first time, we only talk about Dragon Ball.
Yeah, welcome to Undisputed Sparking Zero. I think that's what we should rebrand it. Other news, Solo Leveling. Again, another anime that's just been killing it these last couple of weeks. There's loads of stuff about the episode that's dropping today, which I believe is episode 8. But episode 8, season 2. So there's a lot of conversations about this episode will be extended by 7 minutes due to an extended fight sequence in this episode. Now, I don't know too much about the fight because I never got this far in the manhwa, but Susude, why should people be excited about this extended episode?
If you already enjoy Solo Leveling and you've already enjoyed seeing his growth, I mean that's all there is to say about it. This is just another fight where you see a challenging opponent and you see someone overcoming their limits.
Ooh,
and stuff like that. I think it's another thing where it's like you get to see exactly how strong he's become. And I think that just generally, I mean, in the manhwa, the fight was incredible to like read. So, and based on the last couple of fights that we've seen in the anime, like I can only imagine it's going to be incredible. Because that last fight in the last episode, it wasn't in the last episode, it was the previous episode.
Yeah.
Was incredible. Like it was exactly how I had imagined it to be. Maybe like to some more purists, they'd be like, "Oh well, no, they didn't do this, or they didn't do that, or they skipped over this." I've got no issues with it. I think it's been great. So yeah, like I'm really looking forward to tomorrow morning when I wake up early and I get my morning cuppa and I sit and I watch the latest episode of Solo Leveling.
I'm really excited about this, and I think there needs to be more roses to A1 Studios or A1 Pictures. Like, again, we always talk about Mappa and Trigger and Ufotable as well. A1 Pictures have been slaying it with this series. Like, they have just done phenomenal work. I feel really gutted that I still didn't get to see the first 2 episodes in cinema. I can only imagine like how good that was. But I'm going to say it. I wish some of these fights to come to cinema. Like, I really want to experience this the biggest, best way possible. So if this does come to cinema, I know people kind of like, oh, it's just this episode in the cinema. I'll be there first in line buying a ticket. Call me a glazer. I'm currently like caught in this place of like, where do we go now? Because I think the first season was 12 episodes long.
stuff, which means that technically we've only got, after this coming episode, we've only got 3 episodes left if we're following the same cadence. So I'm trying to think about where it's going to end, and whether it's going to end just before the island arc, or whether it's going to end during the island arc.
Okay.
It feels like in as a retrospect that the island arc didn't actually in the it felt long, but I don't think it actually was that long. So I'm wondering if they maybe will have another like extended episode, and the episode will end very much in the same way that it did in season 1, where the series basically ended with that like kind of like first arise. I'm wondering if we'll get something very similar where the series will end at the end of one of the more iconic fights.
I'm with you. I'm just having a quick look. You're right, yeah. Season 1 was like 13 episodes.
Nice. So yeah, so then we got 4 episodes after this coming episode then, if that's the case.
Oh, sorry, tell a lie. It was 12. Episode 13 was a recap episode.
Oh, yes, of course. Are they doing it in like it's 13 episodes, but they're taking the recap episode that would happen quite early on and tacking that on as the end episode? Or are you talking about the movie?
I think I'm just looking up on IMDb. So episode 12 is called Arise. So I think, like you were saying, like it ends with, Arise to Igris.
Find Ignis,
yeah. Episode 13 is recap how to get stronger. Jinbu recaps the events of the story so far, from his humble beginnings as the weakest hunter of all mankind, and his newfound power and renewed purpose. So I think that might be the one that's tacked on to make the double bill for the cinemas, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Fun. Well, I'm just excited every single week. It's like I've been very like creatively busy lately. 2025 has been my year to like kind of get on top of like my more creative hobbies and stuff. And I'm like jumping onto like, other podcasts like MangaTak whenever I get the opportunity. I'm playing a lot more like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and I'm doubling down on like my own like kind of creative writings and trying to get back into drawing. I'm just trying to make things. 2025 is my year for like making time for things that I like. Unfortunately, as a result of that, very annoyingly, anime has been the thing that's been hit. And stuff. It's like I'm like in the time that I would be watching anime seems to have been taken up by like I'm like planning something or I'm writing something at the moment. And I really need to. I really feel like I need like a school timetable for my like free time, because like I feel like I can do it all if I just schedule myself a little bit better. But solo leveling is like the one thing that I am. This is the whole point of this little tangent. Is solo leveling has been the one thing that I'm consistently keeping up on. So,
that's. I think a lot of people may share similar frustrations. Work life, and you want to find that perfect balance. For anyone who does struggle with timekeeping and stuff, there's a scheduler that I try to keep to, which is called the Trident method. There's a guy on YouTube called Ali something. He's really hot on productivity, and he has this thing called the Trident method, where the whole idea is that you block time in your calendar. And the whole idea behind it is that you're blocking that time for the specific purpose, but you don't have to necessarily keep to it. So, for example, you could say every Thursday evening is date night for you and your significant other. So that way, there's that block time for both of you to share some level of time. That could be watching TV, eating food together, whatever. But that then means that you contribute other parts of the week for other different things, if you know what I mean. So highly recommend. It's on YouTube. Fantastic. And
nice plug.
Nice plug. I'm hot on productivity. Like, I love a good productivity method.
Oh, I know that for you, I know that of you from real life. So it's like,
yeah, I do enjoy it. One other thing I'd mention as well that I've tried to do this year is like planning, like a daily planner. So this is a daily planner book called The Productivity Method by Grace Beverly. It's huge, but again, it is a great way to just kind of write out your day and structure it. It again tries to teach you to have like 3 things that you want to achieve that day. So sometimes for me, that might be edit a video, post it, read 2 chapters of Kagurabachi, but then you get a sense of accomplishment of getting something fulfilled out of your day. So again, it's a great little method, but again, a huge little tangent in case anyone else
that's not about anime at all, but it's about trying to make time for anime. So
yeah, and sometimes people do ask, like, how am I able to watch so much, or how do I, get this done, and with a work life and gym life and stuff. And yeah, that's
married life as well.
A married life, walking dogs. Yeah, it's definitely a method that works for me. So highly recommend looking into it.
I shall.
But I guess it's like gamification, like Solo Leveling, you could say. He had to do those daily activities of squats and running and
yeah. And I often do think about like gamifying things. Like I used to do it like way back. You get those apps for like fitness, which is like it gamifies it and stuff like that. And it's like and so there's something in my brain which is like, if I'm getting EXP for doing this. That's why I've been able to keep up as I have been doing my like daily Duolingo stuff. Because
nice,
it's very much gamified in that, like, you'll do a lesson, you'll do a class, and then it's like, oh, would you like to earn extra experience and stuff like that? And I'm like, the moment I hear experience, I'm like, yes, experience is good, and I'll like do a second lesson just because it's like, we'll give you a bonus. It's like they put like reward chests on the learning track and stuff. It's like, oh, if I do one more lesson, I can get whatever reward is in that chest. And it's always just like something silly like gems or stuff. But sometimes it's like, oh, how would you like a week free trial to the premium membership? And stuff like that. And you're like, well, okay, yes.
Beautiful. That's a great way.
Gamifying things is good. I just need to take some time to reframe some stuff. I've already, this is how far ahead I'm looking. I've already like booked off like a week over Easter, to actually get on top of a load of like creative stuff. So
Beautiful.
Hopefully after that, I'll be much better scheduled because I'll be on top of things.
No, I like that. Yeah, it's definitely do your own solo leveling. Make sure you're gamifying things if that helps, and making these lists and such. But
be the strongest.
Be the strongest. But this episode is going to be S-class. It is going to be sensational. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where this series goes as well. Like, I really hope this goes the whole country mile when it comes to the anime series. I really hope it doesn't.
I think that they're going to continue. I think that there's a strong desire to make so I think that where it's been divisive, it's not been because of like pure criticism. I think it just comes out of love for the series as a whole. And I think that especially becomes true in an instance where the original creator has passed. So it's like the property's been left in the hands of other people, and people who love that series are kind of like, well, you're not doing it justice. It's like, this isn't how the author would have wanted it to be. And stuff. They would have wanted it to be better than this because of how good it was. It's kind of like, and I think that we'll probably start hearing a lot of conversations about that, about future Dragon Ball stuff to throw it back. It's like, obviously Toriyama's not with us anymore, so there's going to be a lot of like, well, this isn't what he would have wanted. Like, he wouldn't have done it this way and stuff. And it's like it's like kind of that whole concept of like the death of the author. It's like after the author like passes. Like, they don't really care. They don't care what's going on with their like property anymore. Like, they don't care. It's like, who does that fall to?
It's a tough one because we have to take the word of those that were around them to, understand what was remaining of their vision. So we've heard, with Berserk, there was that one friend who was informed of how Berserk was supposed to end and all this stuff. So there's every faith that we now know an ending to Berserk. As close as it can be to what the vision was. The same with Oda recently mentioning that it actually scares him now that if he were to pass away, what would One Piece look like? So he's now informed all of his assistants, like, this is how One Piece ends and stuff. So, it's, I guess, like for any creative who is in the midst of creating something, like there is the dread that you may not see your work finish or it may become unfinished. It's, and then, like you said, it's a double weighted burden on those that are left. So I feel my heart goes out to Taro because now he has to maybe try and wrap up Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah. He's got to shoulder that expectation now.
Yeah. Especially that he was handpicked as well. Not only to just do the arc, but most likely now to continue the story.
He is the one who inherited Gurren Lagann.
I thought you were going to say Toriyama's will then. But yeah, I can see that.
He's the All Might has passed on the flames of One for All.
Exactly. So we're getting close to wrapping up the show. I actually put together another 1-star review game. So if you're down to play Susude,
of course. I didn't do very well last time until Sword Art Online came up, to be fair, but let's go.
Shall we hit the segment?
Yeah, let's do it, because it was actually super fun last time, so...
Okay, so I created a game called 1-Star Anime Reviews, Bad Reviews. I still haven't settled on the name. But the premise of the game is I will read out 1-star reviews from IMDb to Susude, and Susude has to guess the anime based on the review.
Spoiler alert, I did badly last time. So let's see if we do better this time.
So I've got 3 anime. I'm going to give you a huge hint. All of these series came out in 2024. So play along at home. Again, feel free to put your answers in the comments to see if you win. But Susude, are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So this first review is titled Disaster.
Let's go.
I might have to bring this closer to my face because I don't have my glasses. Here we go. Drawings and quality was much better in the manhwa. We, readers, have been waiting for the anime adaptation for years. What were the expectations? Was a masterpiece with Sorry, I'm going to start again. What we were expecting was a masterpiece with hard work put in. What we found was a rushed and ruined opportunity. They were probably thinking of it as an easy money printer. You don't kill the goose that's laying the golden eggs. But I have just hope that they correct their mistakes and it gets better with the following episodes. Looking at the first episode is heartbreaking.
That's got to be solo leveling.
It's solo leveling.
Yeah, it's got to be solo leveling. Like that is written exactly how the comments about solo leveling are written on the sites that you can read solo leveling.
The manhwa readers.
Yeah, that's come from a man, like that's come from someone who is a purist fan. So that one, okay, that one was low hanging fruit this time. I was like, I've not engaged with the solo leveling like manhwa community, but I've read enough of their comments after chapters to know how how they feel about the anime.
I was quite surprised. There was quite a few 1-star reviews. I want to say there was about 3 of them, and then there's been 2 more added this year. So yeah, but they're all very lengthy as well.
Yeah.
Which
these are comments from the great thinkers.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yes, please.
Now, this one, interestingly, only had 1-star review.
Oh. So it's either not a hugely popular anime that requires it, or it's a very good anime that's got a very bad review.
I guess to help, it scored an 8.3 on IMDb.
Okay, so it's pretty good. Actually.
So, yeah. I'd say it's a decent one. I'd say it's a good one. So, this is the title. Just another generic shonen that's completely relevant on the social media. Sorry?
Irrelevant?
No. Sorry, I misread. Just another generic shonen that's completely reliant on social media hype and cliffhangers. Here we go. Here's the detailed part, and it's again very lengthy. You know how every few months a new shonen generic cash grab anime comes along? This is on the bottom bracket of that. Only things go on from this show is its social media marketing. Each episode is very dependent and cringe manner, ends on a cliffhanger, as if the writers know that the viewers will lose interest very quickly if they don't make cliffhangers each episode. If that is the confidence writers have in this, then you know a little more about the hype groundbreaking story. The format is simple. Start, X attack, X overpowers human alliance, which have apparently been besting X for years, but now losing miserably at the end of each fight, because QMC, music starts, MC kicks X, redo. Somehow, through all of this, MC is absurd and tortured by the human alliance. You know what happens at the end? Nothing. He just cries and begs to let him in on their little club. It's like watching an angsty Eren Yeager, except it's too jarring when it's a 30-year-old man.
Is it Kaiju number 8?
It's Kaiju number 8.
I was thinking it's Kaiju number 8, but it didn't get solidified until you were like until you said the 30-year-old man comment. And I was like, that's definitely Kaiju number 8.
Where I had to say X was Kaiju's. I thought the Kaiju's would give it away, so I thought.
But yeah, I was like, listen to it. I was like, this sounds like Kaiju number 8, but the way that this person's talking about it sounds like a completely different story. So
the crazy thing is, it could be anything, because cliffhangers are, a great tool for writing to make sure people come back next week.
Yeah, because initially I was like, is this going to be one of those situations where it's like, this is the one negative review that got left for like something like Dan the Dan or something like that? Is this going to be? And then when you started talking about like this, like what the organizations and like these like fights against these X and stuff like that, I was like, oh, is this going to be like another one that like what last year? Which anime came out, which was just like another of the like child soldier trope? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, this sounds like might be Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju number 8. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm surprised that it doesn't have more negative reviews, because I know that a lot of people were not happy about the art, like direction for it.
I think those voices might have been used the sort of more anime-heavy sites like My Anime List or Reddit or something, where with IMDb had like a lot of sort of 5 stars and up. So that's why it's weird. Like, this is the only 1-star review. But yeah.
That's big anime going on and silencing the voices of the people.
Exactly that. I did have one more, but I don't know. There's.
Can I go free for free?
Do you want to try and go free for free?
I'd like to. I did so bad last time. I would like to do really good this time.
Okay, hold on. Let me just get this up for you now. Okay. So this one says, if someone recommended this to you, consider it an insult. This show is written so cheaply, it makes me sick. I understand the comedy, it's subjective, but if you are past the mental maturity of a 12-year-old, this show will have you straight-faced throughout. Plot progression and development is a major role in making a show great. Unfortunately, this show is void of it. This series frequently flashy action sequences and absurd comedy moments over meaningful story advancements. It goes on. The characters themselves have no meaning, development, and are one-dimensional. This lack of depth makes it challenging to empathize with their struggles or become invested in their arcs, as there is little growth or complexity to their personalities. The show lacks a compelling antagonist, which further undermines the ability to create stakes without a central opposing force or meaningful conflict. The narrative feels aimless and devoid of tension. This absence makes it difficult to establish a sense of urgency or purpose, leaving the story feeling flat or inconsequential. In conclusion, this show has no meaning. If you want to watch the show where thinking ruins the experience, then this is the show for you. If you want something more meaningful with depth, plot development, conflict, and real characters, this is not the place for you. This series feels like a collection of spectacles rather than a narrative with substance or depth. Wow.
This has got to be. I had two thoughts, but I'm going to go with my first thought. This has got to be a review of Dan to Dan from someone who has not read the manga.
10 points in terms of it is the Dan to Dan. Yes. Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty scathing review, but they're wrong. I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, but it's a wrong one.
Yeah, I mean,
weird hill to die on, but at least you're dead now.
Yeah, it's just, that's a weird one, because I can see where they're coming from in terms of like an overarching villain.
Yeah.
JJK probably did something very different of titling its first episode after the villain. But yeah, normally there is a point of just getting to know certain characters and stuff. And the character development, this was probably written before episode 8 of the Dan to Dan.
Yeah.
Because that episode with, is it Silk something?
The Silky, yeah, the acrobatic Silky.
That's like the most
masterpiece. I was weeping. This is one of those rare instances where they've taken something that was literally maybe a single page in the manga and they've made it into something greater than the manga could have ever made it be.
Yeah.
It was honestly it was a slow episode, but rightly so.
Yeah.
Honestly, absolute masterpiece. If there was an award for best episode of an anime, I think that should be getting it.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's a crazy review.
Wow. Yeah.
It kind of reads to me, you know, like when you're like, here we go. This will make you laugh. It reads to me like an IGN review of a very popular video game. It reads to me like an IGN review of a game which is getting 9s and 10s across the board, and IGN roll up and said, "Yeah, the gameplay is pretty shallow, and you know, I think that it's actually a very bad game, and the people who like it are probably wrong."
5 star. Yeah,
5 stars, maybe 4. The studio didn't pay us enough money to write a good review.
Yeah. It does feel kind of like an IGN review that you're totally onto it there.
Yeah. Wow. That was crazy.
That was a real crazy one. Quite a few 1 stars in here. Ones that... Sorry, I just seen one 3 stars upvoted by teenagers who have it reach AOT peak. Weird.
So they're saying they've not reached the point where they can enjoy Attack on Titan. So
do you want me to read it to you?
No, I do.
You sure?
I don't. I don't want to waste the brain cells.
They list a lot of other animes in this as well.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, there we go. That's 1 star reviews. Well done, Susie Day. You definitely killed it this week.
Killed it this time. I think giving me the hint at the beginning was very helpful. Because
I wanted to put it in a category for you.
Yeah, because at least then I only had like a year of anime to think about, and not like 30 plus years of anime like shit to think about.
Yeah, I can see in your mind like using filters to try and get there.
Yeah, like it's like taking a while to just like filter it down. It's like going through each individual list by like different categories of anime. Before I forget, might I compliment you and myself on how well coordinated we are for this episode, because you've got the whole white outfit, white headphones, and I've got the black on like over here.
I know, yeah.
We've got a whole yin-yang thing going on right now.
I'm liking it, yeah. No, this is like a brand new, like, believe it or not, a Felix t-shirt.
I did see him there.
Where is he? There he is. So,
I'm just representing the business that I work for. My simple black tee, which does have a logo, but I'm not going to show it. So
exactly that. But yeah, I'm trying to shake up my wardrobe a little bit because, like you said, I'm one to live in a black tee because I'm like slimming, shows off my arms really well. Like,
white tees are great. They're just a pain in the ass to iron. Because when a white tee is creased, it's creased. But a black tee, you can just pull that. That could be in a drawer for a year, and you pull it out, and like no one will ever know it's creased.
This is going to sound like a real sort of dad's talking thing, but it's keeping it white is my having dogs, and they love a cuddle and all that jazz. Like you get mud stains, and like I've got a one-piece t-shirt that's white, and I just can't get the mud stain out of it. It's really annoying me. Yeah. So yeah, if you're one of our listeners in the demographic of over 20s who does their own laundry or washing, yeah, it's a hard life. But I would say that is today's episode. Susie Day, any final thoughts? Any pearls of wisdom you want to share with us?
Pearls of wisdom. It's 2025, 2025. You know, get out there, do things, organize your time good, make more time for things that you love. You know, doesn't have to be anime, but if you can make it anime, you should. Drink plenty of water. Pearls
Which
of wisdom.
I need to do.
Yeah. Like honestly, drink plenty of water. You think you're invincible in your 20s.
You'll pay the iron price, as they say.
The bell tolls on 30, and you're like, wow, my body hurts.
Yeah, a massage goes a long way these days. on that note, on that bombshell, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Of course, make sure to subscribe, hit that star review if you're listening to on your favorite podcast platform. All the relevant links will be in the description down below. Of course, check out the MangaTak podcast, which Susu Day popped a visit to. And yeah, we will see you in 2 weeks' time, as always. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thank
Take care.
you. Peace.
Bye.